I am still not used to the end of that song, but welcome in, folks. Nuggets Europe. The end of the second game, guys, of the new restart, a whole new game, etc. Delighted to be joined with Benjamin and Brad. Lads, top of the evening to you.
Hey, good to be here, man.
Excellent. Look, we haven't got a special guest this week, but I guess us three will have to be the special guest. Let's start with you, Benjamin, man. Like, seriously, I think, well, I guess for all three of us, the game obviously being live on TV last night before midnight was a blessing that we're probably it's not gonna happen for a long time after this week. But yeah, look, obviously a big win in overtime last night and not to jump on a bandwagon, but for a lot of last night, especially in the fourth quarter, you're thinking, are they gonna get over the hump here? And thankfully, big win last night.
It was huge, and I think the biggest thing is what it's going to do for their confidence going forward. You know, I just think, you know, it was a tough loss against Miami where Michael Malone called out the guys, essentially saying, "Are you putting in enough effort here?" They came out, and the thing I was most proud of is that team put in so much effort on both ends of the floor. And that was the takeaway I took. That was the biggest thing I took away from that game. The effort and the energy levels were top, at 10 out of 10.
And I was chatting to you this morning. You watched the game last night until midnight, and then you watched the game this morning. Was there anything that jumped out at you, man? Like even watching it back second time?
Yeah, I mean, look, I like to rewatch games because the first time is all about passion. Second time, I like to do a little bit of an analysis. You know, I don't want to sit there and be analyzing games when I'm first watching it, but then I'll go back, I'll rewatch it, and then I can say, okay, this is that, this is that, this is that. And I think the first thing that I really noticed was we all saw what happened in the Miami game with Michael Porter Jr. We all saw that Michael Malone was giving him some stick. And I love the way he reacted. I love the way he reacted to that. He came out in that game, and the first possession was him setting his intent for the rest of the game. That it was a great down screen by Monte Morris. The way he cut off that down screen. Look, he moved off the ball so well throughout the entire game. But that first play, sometimes maybe he doesn't realize, or maybe he forgets that when you've got Jokic on the floor and you are as talented a player as Michael Porter Jr., a natural, gifted player, if you move off the ball, he's going to find you and you can get whatever you want. Michael Porter Jr. he will feast in those situations. So I thought that first play was really, really big for him going forward. I think it set the tone, and it was great to see. It was really good to see.
It was beautiful to see. And Brad, Skip Bayless said this morning on FS1 this morning, quotes, "I think a star is born in Denver." What was your make, or what did you make of the game last night?
No, I thought Ben summed it up beautifully. I mean, as we've said, I mean, we jumped straight on the MPJ train. We already had this conversation before. we're all aboard, and we're creaming it. And he was exceptional yesterday. He really was. I mean, there were some good performances, some not so good performances. I mean, I'm a Craig fan, Torrey Craig fan, but I didn't think he had a good game yesterday at all. I thought he was very poor, taking shots that he didn't need to take. And I mean, we can talk about the Troy Daniels play at the end. I'm still not really sure what that was all about. But I mean, MPJ was great. Got it done. Some big leads, let slip. I think it's going to be that way when you've got as many injuries as we have at the moment. I mean, this is a good thing for MPJ, as he's going to get more minutes, especially with Murray, Barton, and Harris out as well. I mean, the list's not getting shorter, getting longer, if anything. So, but no, it was a performance. Good to get over that hump from the first game, and then Spurs tomorrow night. It's great.
Spurs tomorrow night, and before we even jump on that game is on Sky Sports Mix, so it is free if you want to check it out, guys. I mean, it's going to be good. Another game on TV. Hopefully it's the altitude one, though, guys. Is it the it's an away game?
Yeah,
Because I was going to say, it seems to be the home team gets to be on Sky, the broadcast at the minute.
Yeah, it would seem that way.
Is annoying. But look, if we have to watch the San Antonio thing, I mean, half of Denver can't watch Oxygen anyway, so we will see what happens in that. Different conversation for a different time. Brad, there's one thing saying, and we both said it, that obviously we're on this MPJ train, but Benjamin, Brad, I didn't expect him to actually go out and score 37 points last night. Like, oh my God. Like, I was almost, because I haven't really mentioned this, but Mike Malone, there's one thing calling somebody out, but actually the way he called him out after the game on Saturday against Miami I was shocked, but in a good way, because I thought, right, if he's ever going to get a reaction from the team, it's now. He needs it now, because you said it yourselves, lads, there's that many injuries. He's down to the paper thin. It needs to happen, and thank God it did. Now, obviously, seeing what happens in these seeding games, it's just going to be a precursor for hopefully a decent run in the postseason. But I'm excited to see what happens next. I mean, guys, I'll start with you, Benjamin, because I know like we both watched, like all three of us watched it on the OKC broadcast last night. But man, Benjamin, there was a lot of fouls last night. Like just towards the end, like Paul Millsap last night.
There was some air in those whistles, right? I mean, it's hard. It's not often that I'll sit back and blame referees for this, that, or the other. But I think, being completely honest, I think both teams had a right to feel in different times of the game like they had a case. They were so trigger happy with those whistles. I don't think I've ever watched a game where the referees have been that trigger happy with blowing the whistle. There was like the Millsap foul, like you brought up, the Millsap foul, on Chris Paul. I mean, Chris Paul missed that free throw, thank God. But I mean, should he have even been there?
Oh man!
But yeah, very interesting to watch. I mean, trying to take something away from that after that many free throws. I mean, we weren't too bad at the line. I haven't got the stats up in front of me right now, but it didn't seem like we were too shoddy at the line. But I mean,
not I can think of. Yeah.
I think it broke. I think it was the broadcast. It wasn't the Ulster broadcast, but the OKC one mentioned that it was a record. I think for the amount of free throws that they had against OKC last night.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Which look, it's not a complaint. It's good. Like, I don't know. I just thought, like, guys, it was interesting to see. Brad, obviously, no Jamal Murray last night. I'm not exactly sure when he's going to get back to full fitness or even back on the court for a start. But do you think they missed him last night? I know, like they obviously won the game, but there was still that. It went to overtime, and to be honest, it could have went either way. But just before the end of the fourth quarter.
I think you're always going to miss a player like Jamal. I mean, even when he's off, he's on. He's just one of those kind of players that you just love to have around, and Jokic loves him. I mean, them two together just work so well. I think the other thing we added to the fouls last night, I think the PJ Dozier incident where he got caught, and they actually debated whether it was going to be a flagrant. And I didn't even think it was an offensive foul, let alone being a flagrant foul. I mean, I think that just summed it up for me. I mean, it was ridiculous to have to spend all that time looking at it for no reason, really. It's crazy. But sorry, digress then.
Was there anything else, Benjamin, that did sound for you this morning when you were sitting with your coffee watching it, or was there anything that you were surprised with? Because obviously Jokic was clutch, man, at one point last night.
Yeah, I mean, look, with Jokic, he's just doing Jokic things, wasn't he? I mean, what I love about watching Jokic play is that sometimes he might not fill the stat sheet right away, but he's doing things across both ends of the floor that are impacting the game massively. And there was one play in particular, I think it was deep into the second quarter, and I think it was Shai Gilgeous-Alexander tossed the ball up for a lob to Steven Adams, and Adams fumbled it, and it kind of goes unnoticed. But I was so impressed with Jokic's defensive positioning. He was in the right places at the right times. He's never going to block 5 shots a game. That's not his game. But his quick hands, his positioning, his intelligence on the defensive end is so underrated in this league. And if you watch that play there, he puts himself in a certain position just enough to put off Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Steven Adams and cause that to be a more difficult play than it could have been. because a lot of other defenders that could have been an easy 2 points, and it was great to see he had, and then when you talk about overtime, I mean, overtime was just domination. It was just superstar domination.
Absolutely.
It was just what you want from your top guy. And he went out there and said, all right, MPJ, you've pulled us into this. You've got us to this point now. I got this, young fella. I'll take it from here, and it was just, it was great to watch.
No,
and Brad, it was definitely funny, man, whenever the OKC broadcast went very quiet with maybe a couple of minutes to go in overtime.
Yeah, I mean, as Ben said, I mean, Jokic I thought he was fairly quiet. I mean, to be honest with you, though, first, I think maybe it was the second quarter as well. He bullied Adams every time he went up there, up to the rim. He just bullied him. Adams didn't have a clue what to do with him at all. And then I thought he was a bit quiet in the third and fourth, and then the overtime was just all him. He just completely took that well away from them.
Oh, and that's what I love. Just to add to your point, he did seem quiet. I agree, he did seem quiet, but he ends up with a 30-point triple-double. It's
mad. It's madness,
doesn't he? He sneaks it, and it's like, I looked at the stats after the game, and I actually didn't realize, because they weren't going to bring it up on the OKC broadcast, but I didn't realize he had that 30-point triple-double. And it was
there's some stats as well there, Benjamin, as well there from last night. There's a little bit more. So
and Monte Morris, we have to talk about Monte Morris. I mean,
he had a good game.
He's a great player. He always seems to me like he's calm. He's calm, and it's like, I mean, he was ice cold from the line. Those clutch free throws were just, I had confidence when he went to the line for those two. I felt like he was going to make them, and I think he felt like he was going to make them, and I think that's the difference between players like that, and he's really got a good sense of what he's, you got a player like Jamal Murray in front of you, and you're relied on now to go in there and be the man running the ball. That's going to be difficult for a lot of young players, but he's come in there, and he was picking up his feet in the Miami game, and he hadn't played for a long time. He was so late into the bubble, but then come in this game, and there were points where he, was a little bit shaky, but he gave 100%. I mean, that cut, the thing that I loved about the free throws were great, but the cut in order to get that pass from Jokic and earn that trip to the line was just his game summed up. Full energy, clutch, and again, wonderful to see.
And even though there was only 4 minutes of ball, we will not tread on that too much. There's just the last thing, even though it's not filling the screen. But obviously Coach Malone said that MPJ texted him saying, Michael, I'm not going anywhere. Sorry, hold on, stay with me. And Coach responded with, Michael, I'm not going anywhere. So obviously you've seen that from, I think it was Saturday or Sunday night. I know Michael Porter can bring a lot more than he brought tonight, which was boom, here we go. Mic drop sort of thing, but what a performance last night, and hopefully, guys, it just continues over. Obviously, tomorrow night, tomorrow evening for us, San Antonio. Starting with you, Benjamin. Like we sort of said it off air, there was almost an expectation last night because there were so many players out. It was, I mean, I don't want to say it was flat in the first game, but it was to an extent. It was flat. It was almost hard to watch because you were expecting so much, and then boom. I mean, last night they grinded out the result. What do you think would be an appropriate thing tomorrow night? Because that San Antonio team is going to be an interesting one to play.
Yeah, they are. And I mean, look, they caused us problems in the playoffs last year. I mean, obviously there was the added pressure of being in the playoffs, having a young team. I think, the one thing that I'd love to see, and I think Scott Hastings did mention this in the broadcast, Michael Porter Jr.'s offense is clearly flawless. He can, his shooting stroke is just pure. But if he can work on that two-man game, really work on that dribble handoff that the Nuggets love to use, that to me, I mean, could just push him to the next level, and it really, I want to see more of that. I need to see more the same energy on the defensive end as well. because although he's never going to be Dennis Rodman, last night defensively he came out and he gave energy and effort, and that's all Malone wants to see. He wants to see him giving his all on the defensive end, because that's what's going to earn him the minutes. That's going to allow him to show us his offense. But then, of course, we need Jokic to be on the top of his game. We need Monte Morris to have another great game. It's a guard-orientated league, and we're missing our two best guards, and Will Barton, our three best guards, if you will. So we just have to keep energy, effort on the defensive end, and hopefully our big guns on the offensive end can perform again. And I think that's the biggest key going into the game.
We'll see what happens, Brad. Obviously, the Spurs last night lost, I think, in the final seconds to the 76ers. So they're going to be fuming. They're going to be ready to go out tomorrow night and get whatever they need to get. Obviously, a game before midnight, so we have to embrace it. Are you excited for it, Brad?
I am excited. I mean, I did actually watch the Spurs. I didn't watch them last night against the 76ers, but I watched them against the Kings, and they played really well against the Kings. Who was it? DeRozan. He played really well. He was freaking excellent. He's going to be a worry. He's definitely going to be a worry.
Yeah.
I think it's all going to depend. Will Murray be back? Who knows? I mean, I think Barton and Harris are pretty much. I'm not even sure if they're going to come back. I don't think they're going to push them to come back anytime soon. But yeah, no, I'm always excited, especially getting to see it at 9 o'clock. It's going to be nice.
And hopefully it doesn't go to overtime, guys, because some of them have to get up early on Thursday morning. I'm joking. I'm giving me heart failure last night, like watching that seeding game. I was like, come on, shouting at a small TV, come on. No, guys, look, it's obviously been great chatting. It's been a really good day. Obviously, just recapping MPJ, and hopefully, if he goes out and does even half as good as he did yesterday, it should be an interesting game. I don't know when we'll be back on again, but I'm sure we'll hopefully have a guest at that point, because there is a couple of days to the weekend, and we'll try and get somebody on. But no, definitely, guys, I definitely appreciate you coming on, and hopefully we can do it again either maybe tomorrow night or Thursday, and hopefully we'll have another win under our belts.
Absolutely. That's the plan.
Absolutely. And the game is on Sky Sports Mix tomorrow night in the UK and Ireland. In terms of any other country, no idea. Check out the NBA website, but it's on League Pass. It's on Arena Sport in Serbia. It's on BN Sports and in France, and NBA TV in Germany. There's my awful brain at 9:54 in the evening telling it actually is. I wrote an article for it like 2 weeks ago for the Heat game, or like a week ago. So all those channels is on. But I think, guys, this is going to be one of the last games that we're on anyway, at a nice time in the evening. Like, for example, that Portland game is at 1 a.m. So, yeah, not looking forward to that.
Well, I will be watching that one live. Is Portland, and if we can do whatever we can do to stop them making the playoffs, then I'm there. I'm all for it.
And actually, Benjamin, I am full of rubbish, because that Utah game is on Saturday evening. So it is like there are like it's actually quite fast if you look at it in that sense. You got the Wednesday for us. You got, well, I guess it's late Thursday night. So it's going to be interesting. So quick stop off, but yeah, we will see what happens, guys. It's been a pleasure. Hopefully we get this big win tomorrow night, and I'll chat to you soon.
Absolutely. Thanks for having us on,
guys. Appreciate it.
Go